What's good, everybody? Welcome into Early Edge Live as Week 10 in the National Football League has arrived. That's right, Thursday Night Football tonight. It is the Falcons, the first place Atlanta Falcons, traveling to Charlotte, North Carolina. Or as my boy Ric Flair used to say, North Kakalaki. But tonight, we got a little bit of wind. We may have a little bit of rain, may have a little bit of weather. Week 8, just 2 weeks ago. This was an unbelievable game between these two teams. 37-34, the Falcons win in overtime after DJ Moore catches that miracle touchdown and rips his helmet off. 15-yard penalty, missed the extra point. We go to overtime. That will not happen tonight because it should not have been a penalty. So let's get into it. Let's bring in the stars of the show because you know who I have tonight at my fingertips. It's an embarrassment of riches when I have these three faces on the show. So where do we start? Ladies and gentlemen, live from parts unknown. You saw him today on Twitter Spaces every single Thursday. The Prop Shop. It's his own show. And then also tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Time on our Prop Extravaganza. You can just call them Prop Stars. Alex, good evening, sir.
Coach, what's good? Cousin Sia, AB, good to see you. I believe that miracle reception by DJ Moore actually cashed a Cousin Sia prop.
It did.
Over 4.5 receptions. So not only was it just like the play of the week, maybe the season, but it also cashed a awesome SportsLine prop from Sia. So that was awesome.
It did. That's a nice little flow right into the most handsome man in all of the Early Edge universe. Sia Najad. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Props to the prop show tomorrow. Alex, I know you haven't had a losing week yet this year on the prop show. I got to go back and check my records. I think I might have been even or had a losing week in week 1, but I'm pretty sure I've rattled off 7 or 8 winning weeks in a row as well. So everybody tune into that show tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Pretty psyched about that. But first and foremost, let's get after it. I got a couple plays today.
Why don't you stop it? You know exactly what your record is every single week. Don't act like, I think. You know exactly what you've done because you're a savage.
Coach, this gives me cause to tweet about it later so that I can verify what I'm saying now.
That's very true. Very true. All right, finally, from Nashville, Tennessee, 8 floors below. He's our 5-tool player. He's the man who runs the brand every single day, and I tweeted it today, and I'm going to tell you again face-to-face. Nobody eats, breathes, sleeps SportsLine and the Early Edge like my man AB. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Coach. Good evening, Prop Star. See ya, everybody, the Early Edge crew. I appreciate you saying that. Absolutely. And you know what? What I love about this show are people that are strong-willed, backbones. And you know what? I say all that to say in the chat, our man, Eric David, put it perfectly. AB, no punting props posted yet? The books are cowards. They won't give us what we need tonight, but it's going to be a wild game for sure.
All right, cowards, I say, cowards. Now, we got a couple little housekeeping things to do before we get into our best bets, and we got several best bets tonight. If you're brand new to the brand or the show, first of all, welcome. We do this every single primetime NFL night. We do best bets, props. We do a thing called the Gem, where we pick the first touchdown of the game scored to get into the club. I still have a headache from Monday night when I got in, and I'm going to do it again tonight. And then also we'll have a little thing called the Goose, little same game parlay. Now, normally we have the donkey, but the man who does the donkey's not here tonight. But we do want to pay tribute to the man, the myth, the Money Mike on his 7-year anniversary at SportsLine, a $75 million capper standing next to a $75 million gambler. Last week at the World Series, M squared, Mikey. How about everybody in the chat just write congratulations, M2? How about we just write that real quick? This man is a savage. He can do any sport. He can do anything in fantasy. And see it real quick. What is it like to work with Mikey when it comes to the fantasy side of things?
Well, it kind of makes me feel a little, he's so good, and especially with DFS, he's so good at just finding the spots, the leverage spots. I literally just got off the air with him for our Fantasy Football Today DFS show. And, everybody kind of waits. At the end of the show, we do a top 3 at each position. And I know everybody's like, listen, the whole show is great. It's a game-by-game preview on Thursdays, but everybody is waiting for Mike's top 3 specifically. So I kind of just sit in the corner and wait for him to go. But listen, I'm just happy to be in the conversation, happy to be on the show with him. He really is so good at what he does. And I genuinely feel lucky to be a part of it on the early edge and on Fantasy Football Today DFS.
Alex, go.
Yeah, Mikey's ability to contribute, whether it be sides, totals, props, fantasy content, he just has such just tremendous betting instincts. He just really has just a fundamental understanding of how markets maneuver and work, and the guy is truly just unbelievable. So just wanted to shout out Mikey. This has nothing to do with being a colleague of his. I just have so much respect for him and everything he does.
I call him our resident genius, and I know I joke around a lot. I know I give everybody nicknames, but there is a certain truth to everything that I do, and he is our resident genius. The man knows, and he'll tell you why 10 cents matters. It matters, especially if you're doing this every single day. One more time, Alex, go.
Yeah, the last thing I just want to say, even for as amazing he is as, a bettor and a gambler, he's an even better human being.
Hey, Mr. Rogers, this is a betting show.
Hey, I was just gonna say that on every meeting and call that we have with him and Noah and everybody, Mike just makes me feel like an idiot. So there we go. He's very intelligent.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, let's get into it. Mikey, congratulations. And as I like to say with all of the crew members, because I get hundreds of DMs a day saying, can I be a part of the crew? Can I be a part of the crew? You got to earn it. You got to earn it. We got the best crew in the entire land, but we can't do it without everybody, meaning the people at home, meaning those of you in the chat. And if you want the goose tonight, do not make me threaten you. I need 500 likes. Take the chat down, hit that like button, put it right back up, and keep on rolling. So we need 500. Let's get into it. And Alex, since you had so many nice things to say about Mr. M Squared, I would love for you to go first. And I believe that you and the Maestro are simpatico in one of your plays tonight, yes?
Yeah, we're overlapping on an Atlanta Falcons running back, Tyler Algier. I gave this out at 32.5 yards on Twitter Spaces. If you tuned in, me and AB chopped it up. It was great. This has since moved up to, I think, as high as 38.5 on some books. I believe you can still find it at 34.5 on DraftKings. I'd play it there. I haven't checked every other book. I do know that it has steamed up quite a bit since this afternoon. Just before I break down the play, I'd also look at his rushing attempts line at 8.5. I like the over there as well. And if you're looking at 38.5 rushing yards and you can potentially get something like 42 on his combo line, I'd also look at that as well. But I just think all these numbers are low for Algier tonight. He's really impressed me. He's gone over this in 6 straight games while he's averaged 13 rushing attempts, 62 rushing yards over that sample size as well. As we know, or if you've watched the Falcons this season, they run the football as much as almost any team in the NFL. They have a mobile quarterback. They'd run the football on first, second, and third down if they could get away with it, honestly. Panthers, they're just 23rd in rushing DVOA, so this is a beatable matchup. Furthermore, Algier, he's flashed a lot of big play potential as well. Last week, he had a 45-yard rush in the first quarter, so honestly, he can take this on just 1 or 2 carries. I think he's progressed really nicely as the seasons went along. Early in the season, wasn't super blown away by him, but he looks a lot more comfortable in this offense. He seems to really be kind of just understanding the scheme and just getting behind blockers, really just watching him progress as the season moves along. I've been impressed with him quite a bit. So like Tyler Algier, over 32.5 rushing yards, would play it up to 34.5. Also check his rushing attempts line if you don't have access to a number under 34.
All right, so I got a couple questions for you in the chat, man. They're just putting you and Maestro over a lot, but books have it at different places. You said some up to 38. My book still has it at 31.5, but it's juiced to minus 174. What would be the sweet spot for you?
Yeah, so optimally, when you're talking about that type of juice, I'd much rather just have a couple more yards. So I'd pass at that 31.5 number if we're looking at that heavy of juice. Ideally, you can just find it at 34.5 at somewhere close to even odds or minus 115.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for, but I don't have that luxury at my particular book. So thank you very much. All right, that's our first bet. And when you've got the Maestro backing you up, you know that thing's going to cash. It's just a matter of time. Now, Sia, you have been really good at sides lately. You've been really good at sides, but today you're coming in one side, one prop. Educate, entertain. I feel like somebody does that. You're up, sir.
Well, hopefully I can do that right now. And then for the record, as it relates to Algier and his rushing attempt prop, that was actually a prop I almost brought to this show It's 8.5. And I actually like that. I like Alex's play way better, but I think the over 8.5 in this game in particular is going to be pretty good. I think Tyler Algier is going to eclipse that. And actually, that kind of leads into my play here. I'll give out the side first. It is the Atlanta Falcons -2.5. Part of me feels like I'm walking into a bit of a trap with, under this key number of 3 and Atlanta just being the better team. We saw how bad Carolina got beat up by Joe Mixon and the Cincinnati Bengals last week. So it feels like a spot where maybe you go contrarian and you take the Panthers. What I can't get past with the Falcons is the running game. And this, again, it goes to Tyler Algier, it goes to Alex's prop. The running game doesn't only include Algier and Caleb Huntley, but now they have Cordero Patterson back, who only got like a 40% snap share last week. I expect that to increase to some degree this week. I just don't think in this game environment that Carolina can expose Atlanta's weakness. And what I mean by that is the way you beat Atlanta for the most part is through the secondary. They are super banged up in the secondary. No A.J. Terrell, no Casey Hayward, no a lot of other guys in terms of guys that can compete in the secondary against really good passing teams. This isn't really a good passing team, though. And with the elements coming into play here, with some wind, with some gusts, with some rain, I just don't think we're going to see a scenario where P.J. Walker is going to be chucking it around the yard. He really did have a bad week last week as well. So I like the Atlanta Falcons -2.5. I think they're going to win time of possession. I think they're going to win total yards. I think they're going to win rushing yards. And I think they have a really good 2-headed, if not 3-headed monster, maybe 4-headed if you want to include Marcus Mariota, in terms of just bludgeoning Carolina over 4 quarters and just sort of, taking out their will, if you will, and winning this game by well over 2.5, in my opinion. The other play I have is a prop, and it's Chuba Hubbard. So Chuba Hubbard is coming back from injury. He's been out for a couple weeks. I have his under here, under 11.5 longest rush. Listen, a couple things that I think is working in favor of this play. First of all, Deontay Foreman has really established himself as the alpha running back, at least for now. He's been very good. And for the record, he was also very, very good against Atlanta just 2 weeks ago. You also have the added element of the elements coming into this game and the fact that Chuba Hubbard has that ankle injury. So you never know whether or not he's really going to be used at full bore. I think he's the backup running back regardless, but he certainly could retweak this ankle regardless. His rushing total is 35.5, and I think that's fair. What you're going to need to eclipse this 35.5 total is one big rush from him, and I don't think it's going to happen. So that's why I've taken his under of 11.5 rushing yards. Again, the Falcons, you expose them in the secondary, not necessarily in the running game. They're bad against the run too, but they don't allow a lot of explosive plays to running backs. So Chuba Hubbard, I don't anticipate him getting a ton of carries because of Deontay Foreman, and therefore I'm taking that low sample size of carries, and I'm just assuming that he is not going to eclipse this 11.5 rushing yard total. Under 11.5 yards, -120.
And Bill says, Sia, what would you play that up to? My book is at 10. Carries out, getting even odds, though, on it. How low would you go?
At 10 flat, that's an interesting number. I would have thought it was 10.5. But at even money, I would take it at 10.5. I would definitely not go any lower than that. And honestly, if it was 10.5 -120, I would not take that. Okay. I'd be surprised because across the board, it seemed like it was -120, under 11.5 across, I think, DraftKings, FanDuel, and one other book that I checked. So 10.5 at even money is okay, though.
All right, very good. Now, a lot of you putting in the props you want us to get to. I'm writing them down, and we're going to do kind of a little quick whip around as soon as we get done with our best bets. By the way, Sia, Big Papa says, I'm going against Sia on this one, +2.5 Carolina. He says, I don't want a showdown. He doesn't want a showdown. He just wants the world to know that he's going against you. Any word for Big Papa?
Best wishes. Smart not to take me in a showdown. But listen, I'll be very clear about this. I get the contrarian element of this. I get taking Carolina, a team that looks super down. They're at home. I mean, it is a good spot to take that type of play. But here, I just think Atlanta's too much. And I don't think we've seen the full impact of Patterson being back with Atlanta. I think that's a really big deal because we haven't really seen Atlanta fully with him the last 4 weeks.
Alex, go.
To quote the great Notorious B.I.G., I love it when they call me Big Papa.
Oh, man. Why did I know that was going to come? I thought it was going to be like a very Prop Stars-esque take, and no, we're going back 20 years to one of my favorite songs of all time. All right. Now, other best bets we have to give you an idea of how my crew members move the needle. Terrence Marshall Jr., we gave it out at 39.5 receiving yards under for Zach Attack, and he does it ahead of time. It's all the way down to 35.5 at most books now, right? So, and then we have Maestro, who is also on the Algier rushing prop. But that's why we give out plays on Tuesday. That's why we give out plays on Wednesday. Now, AB, big boy, you're up. Let's go.
Yes, sir. All right. So first off, we were just talking about books. I got to give a shout out to SHH in the chat, who correctly recognized that a book right behind Prop Stars right now is upside down. So well done on that one. Notice that. I like that one. All right, we got two plays here. We're going to go first. We're going to go Kyle Pitts, over 37.5 receiving yards, and I'm going to tell you why. First off, all week, Marcus Mariota and Arthur Smith have both said that they have to get Kyle Pitts involved in this offense. The last time that these two teams played a couple weeks ago, Kyle Pitts went for 80 yards receiving. I think that he's going to do it tonight. And you guys were just talking about Sia and Big Papa and a showdown, and Sia saying, hey, you know, you might want to go contrarian. Like, you don't have to go fully with the other team. Here's your contrarian play. Everyone thinks that the Falcons are going to run for 6,000 miles tonight, right? Well, what if they shut down the run? What if it's raining? Well, what's a quarterback with not a big arm going to do? He's going to find his tight end. It might be 5, 10, 15 yards at a time, but Kyle Pitts is going to get action tonight, so take him over 37.5 receiving yards there. Next, Young Ho Koo, our dog, our man. He's going over 1.5 field goals tonight. I know that the weather is going to be hurricane, but you know what? Young Ho is hurricane-proof. And with the game script tonight, I think our man is going to get a couple chances here, get him in, get those early and even late too. If they're up, they're down. This game shouldn't be any type of a blowout. So, yeah, go with those two right there.
Can you repeat that last sentence in the way you started it one more time, please?
Yeah, Young Ho is hurricane-proof.
All right, real quick question. Longest catch for Kyle Pitts is 17.5 minus 111. Do you like that?
I want to hear props on it because I don't know how I feel about that. I went yardage. I want to hear what his thoughts are.
Go out.
I wanted to back up, baby. I actually like Kyle Pitts quite a bit, even in this matchup, even in the inclement weather. I agree with everything AB said regarding the Falcons making more of a concerted effort to get him involved. I don't think people understand this. I know he's having obviously an off season compared to his historic rookie season. This is a function of this offense. It's not anything to do with Kyle Pitts, in my opinion. To me, he's a generational talent. I think he's one of the most talented players in the NFL at any position. Furthermore, this is also a very good matchup. Carolina has been absolutely shredded by tight ends, including Kyle Pitts, as AB mentioned a few weeks ago. So I like this spot a lot. I definitely think they need to keep him engaged. One thing I was encouraged by looking back last week is they threw the ball to him in the red zone on first down. That tells me that they are making a concerted effort to get him in the ball, and they realize they need to keep him in the game plan because he is blocking a lot more than he did last year. So I think anytime Kyle Pitts is under 40 yards, especially in an advantageous matchup, he is definitely worth a look. So I like it where he's at. I'd also lean over on his longest reception line just because of the big play ability. He also has a deep A dot too. So I think all of Kyle Pitts props are honestly a good value.
Why do I feel like other people say when you're talking dirty that you use when you do it, you talk about A dots and you talk about this and you talk about that. That's your comfort zone. That's your comfort zone. I love it. Great Chick-fil-A nuggets right there. It is open on a Thursday. All right, we got several props to get to from the chat that they are very interested in. And see, I'm coming to you because last week at one point, P.J. Walker in the second quarter was, I think, 1 for 4 for 9 yards. Then he got yanked, and anybody that played his over was like, what? The number is right back to the same spot again tonight. It's hovering around 160. It's been moving all over the place. But this, I'll be honest with you, I almost gave this out as a play. And I bet it myself already. And right now the number's at 168.5, juiced to the under at minus 123. Your thoughts?
It's interesting because it is all over the place because I see at DraftKings 175, but it's juiced to the under there minus 150. So 175.5, and it's to the over, it's plus 115. You know, I lean to the over there. I do think the problem I have with that is that if I'm right about Atlanta, there's not going to be as many possessions as we can anticipate in your everyday game. And if you take 2 or 3 possessions away from, let's say 2 possessions away from Carolina, just as a result of Atlanta running the ball and having a couple 6-8 minute possessions, then you really impact that number. So I don't mind it. If anything, I would lean the over in spite of the weather on PJ Walker, but especially with Chuba Hubbard back, I mean, it is a little bit more dynamic of an offense, but it's a stay away for me.
Before you at home say hold the phone, a couple of weeks ago, Sia taught us all a lesson, including myself, and it cost me $100 to learn said lesson on Justin Fields, on the matchup and the over, which happened basically early third quarter. The man knows his quarterbacks. Now, quickly, let me come to you, AB. They're talking about, because in my book, I have this play that I could play, over 3.5 field goals plus 140 total for both teams.
Yeah, look, this is a gamble. This is a gamble play, because the weather is a factor, the score, game script is a factor. That being said, you could get 3 field goals out of Atlanta tonight, right? It could absolutely happen, and especially if the weather is bad and teams are having a difficult time getting points up. If we get a super low-scoring game, absolutely. But just know that it is an absolute gamble because there are so many X factors that you just can't figure out right now. And just the game script and how it's going, the chess match between both head coaches. So understand, it's a gamble, but I do like it, especially at plus money.
All right, we are just 5 minutes away from the top of the hour. This show goes so fast, I can't even believe it. Are we close to 500? I want to make sure that we get there because, as Eric said in the chat, I don't just give it away. You got to earn it. We do our job. You got to do your job. Where are we at on likes there, AB or Snake? Snake behind the ones and the twos. I want to make sure.
We're about 120 away. 120 away.
Look
That's
who just
it.
showed his face, ladies and gentlemen.
What up, Snake?
Actually, and as I say it, we're at 105, so we're getting pretty close.
All right, everybody say hello to Snake. Snake doesn't show his face too much, but he's the engine behind everything we do as well. What an incredible addition to the crew. Now, Alex, let me come back to you because there is a name that we have been saying over and over and over and over again about who caught that touchdown and then yanked his helmet off. But what about his numbers? What about his numbers tonight? So his catch number is 4.5 minus 105. His yardage is 59.5 plus 107 that one catch would have cashed 2 weeks ago. Your thoughts on the Panthers' number one wideout?
Yeah, I like DJ Moore. It doesn't get better than this matchup on paper versus decimated Falcons secondary, giving up more yards through the air than any team in football, particularly to wide receivers as well. So I do anticipate him getting 8 to 10 targets. Concern is, obviously, we have inclement weather that could be not necessarily conducive to a lot of passing volume. Furthermore, this Falcons team, they just bleed clock and they just run the ball over and over and over. So we might be looking at a situation where the Panthers just don't really get a lot of time to air the ball out. I would still lean over, but that's kind of what separates it from being something that I love versus something that I like. So I'd lean over on both his receptions and his yardage, slight lean to the yardage, but I do anticipate him getting somewhere between 8 and 12 targets. If this game can pick up a little bit, he should sail over, but there's also a few range of outcomes where he kind of lands close or doesn't quite make it. So air cautiously.
Okay, very
Can
good.
I add this? May I add this real quick?
Of course, go.
There's a game script scenario where if the Panthers get up early and it's 10-0, even 7-0, but specifically 10-0, and you force the Falcons to have to move quicker and put the ball in the air, quote me on this, all hell will break loose in this game. Anything could happen, right? So I kind of want that to happen. If you're betting any overs, pull for Carolina to get up early because it might not be Atlanta scoring. It might be them turning the ball over, and it could go back and forth, back and forth. That's your best bet if you're betting these overs. And also, Thursday Night Football, the over is hit in 3 straight. The Carolina Panthers, last 2 games, giving up an average of 39.5 points per game.
Right now, me and C are looking at you saying you are dead to me, AB.
Yeah.
Dead. We do not want that to happen tonight at all. At all. Falcons money line is my biggest bet of the week. Money line at minus 150. We do not want that to happen. Now, C, let me come back to you because we already talked about the PJ Walker side. And by the way, my man DJ Fresh is noticing you're watching Tulsa, Memphis. We're on the over 62 if you're wondering, DJ Fresh. So be very careful to PJ Walker because, yeah, Baker Mayfield is healthy. And he came in last week. Could happen again tonight. So I wouldn't touch the over there. On the other side, Mariota has a few more things that we could do. His rushing prop is 30.5, juiced to the over -124, and then his yardage prop is lower than PJ Walker's at 159.5. Anything you like with Mr. Mariota?
I think and by the way, DJ Fresh, or I missed the name, but when football's on, I'm watching it. So I hope that's not too distracting in the background. To be honest with you, I was waiting to make a live play on this, which I very well could do, I wanted to take Tulsa live. I wanted to get a better number than the +7. So we'll wait and see on that. I like the unders on both Marcus Mariota's passing yards and his rushing yards. Again, with Patterson back, I'm not so sure how much Mariota is going to be rushing relative to if Patterson, was not active and fully healthy in this game. So not that I don't think Mariota can eclipse this. He'll have some rushing attempts for sure, but I just lean the under there. And again, given the game script that I like, 156.5 is such a low number for passing yards.
Yeah.
But again, given our game script, Coach, you're included in here. You took money line for a reason. It's because you thought Atlanta was just going to dominate via the running game, that this wasn't necessarily going to be the shootout that we saw a couple of weeks ago. Even when we saw that, it was like mostly through the running game for Atlanta. So although actually Mariota had a pretty good passing game that week as well. The point is, I'm going to just marry my game script here. And what that will mean for Marcus Mariota's passing yards is probably something in the 140 to 150 range and not in the 160, 170 range.
Boy, and it's so hard to play something like that. It really, really is. You could do what Malik Willis did on Sunday night and throw it out to the flat, and they go 70 yards, and then all of a sudden now you're screwed. All right, AB, I'll be coming to you with a FanDuel boost, so think about that in the chat. But I got to come to Alex first because I love bringing you the big names, Alex, because I know that you don't get caught up in stargazing, as I like to call it. You look at the numbers. You look at things that are happening. Well, Cordarrelle Patterson, his number is sitting around 59.5. His combo number is only 69.5. Your thoughts on Patterson, who is now back, and he appeared to be pretty healthy on Sunday?
Yeah, this guy's a special talent, coach. Issue being with Cordarrelle Patterson is, first off, they're not using him in the passing game whatsoever this season. I think he has less than 5 targets on the season, if I'm not mistaken. That is correct, even though this guy is a dynamic weapon out of the backfield catching passes. But just not getting the usage in the passing game, in my opinion, to really feel comfortable taking his combo lines or receiving lines, even though they are certainly very attractive because he is such a capable receiver. Has looked very good rushing the football. He is their lead rusher. My concern with this game is 2 things. One is that he's on a short week coming back off the injury. Furthermore, they have 2 other running backs who are more than capable of filling in, plus a mobile quarterback as well. So I just don't anticipate them giving Patterson a big workload on a short week against a team I believe they should be able to handle, and they have 2 viable options behind him. So while I like Patterson, I'd lean over on his number. His rushing line opened at 51.5. It's since steamed up to 59.5. I think you mentioned, Coach. Liked it at the 51.5 number, but at this point, it's no longer efficient in my opinion. Or excuse me, it's become a lot more efficient, I should say.
All right, real quick, Are you done?
Sorry, Coach.
Okay. Now, real quick, Tommy Tremble. His numbers are low, but several people are asking because Panthers have nobody else to throw to. What do you make real quickly on Tremble? Catches, which are 1.5, or his yards are right around 13.
We're just looking at such a low volume passing offense, and almost all the targets are funneled to DJ Moore, with a little bit getting sprinkled elsewhere. So just don't have enough confidence in that floor for me. He could go targetless in this game, and I don't think anyone would be surprised. Obviously, a low number, certainly capable of going over just with the inclement weather. The Panthers want to run the football. If they're effective running the football and this game is going to be close, they're going to run the football. So I just don't think this game environment is conducive to the passing volume that I look for outside of DJ Moore.
All right, very good. AB, go.
Yeah, I want to say real quick in the chat, Ed Searfoss, you are a brilliant human being. Adding a fumble lost to a same-game parlay. If you could get just a fumble lost, like if you could bet that at your book, absolutely do that tonight. Absolutely. With these 2 quarterbacks and weather and rain and no offensive line, dude, that brilliant, sir. Well done.
All right, there's a lot of people that watch this show that play at FanDuel, so let's do that FanDuel boost real quick from Aaron. Moore, 25-plus yards. Pitts, 25-plus yards. -165 now, +100. Your thoughts? I guess it's come down.
Did DJ Moore break his leg? Like, oh, yes, like absolutely, I would do this. Yeah, like it must be like something that they're pushing for sure. But yeah, I'm in on that.
Very good, very good. All right, I think we got to most of them. The other ones were kind of the boosts and the fun ones, and you guys can take those and have fun with them. But we wanted to stick at least for this game because it's very difficult when you have two teams like this to really figure it out. Alex tells you all the time, there's way more ways for unders to come in than for overs to come in. AB.
I'll be real quick. I just want to say also be careful in this game because you have one team in the Falcons that are fighting for first place in the division, and you have another team on the opposite side that does not care at all. They don't care about going for fourth downs. They don't care about throwing it deep. They're going to try things because really, who cares? And they've already benched their quarterback, put him back in, benched him, put him back in. Like, this team could just start chucking it deep. So, yeah.
Well, and along those same lines, let me come to Sia real quick, and then we'll get to – I'm assuming we have 500 now. I assume the goose is good to go. Yes? No?
Yeah, we're good to go. We got 500. We're good to go.
Thank you, Snake. You're the man. I think Snake's starting to like dropping in here a little bit. I can see it on his face. So a very good question from the chat quickly from Adam. We're talking about all these struggles and the games going quickly and all this game script. He says, what about the unders on either Mariota or Walker's longest completion? So, Sia, I'm going to let you take Mariota. I'm going to let Alex take P.J. Walker. So, for Mariota, it's 30.5 minus 106.
Yeah, I would take the under there. And it's a good point by the person who asked the question because his completion prop is, I believe, it's really low. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. It might be like 14.5 completions or something like that. So what's your, how many times is he really going to be airing it out and actually completing it? Very little. You're looking at maybe one or two long balls just to loosen up the defense and maybe have the secondary respect somebody taking the top off. But no, for Mariota, I would take the under there of 30.5, I believe it was.
Yes, his completions is at 13.5, currently minus 114. Alex, what about P.J. Walker? His number is 31.5, minus 103.
I lean over on it, except for we have a couple of wide receivers in the form of DJ Moore and Marshall, who do have a lot of big playability. So that's why I'm apprehensive. Plus, they could be playing from behind. So I'd feel more comfortable taking Mariota's under versus PJ Walker's.
All right. Very, very good. By the way, BJK all day 37. I don't like that DJ Moore, Kyle Pitts thing. There's a reason it's plus 235. Don't like it. Wouldn't play it. All right. Now, it's that time of the show. For those of you that watch every single time, thank you. For those of you who are brand new that just joined us crossing the top of the hour, welcome to The Early Edge on YouTube, on Apple, or on Spotify. It's time to do the goose. It's a fun bet. It's a same-game parlay, and we hit these quite often. Alex has gone into the lab, turned it all around, turned it all up, and Alex, what do you have for us tonight, big boy?
I've got a little plus 450 Goose for us. Goose was in the lab working overtime since Mikey and the donkey are not with us tonight. First up, we've got Cordero Patterson. Talked about him a lot. Anytime touchdown score. I mentioned this ad nauseum, but I love building these same game parlays around a guy I like to score a touchdown tonight. Next up, we've got the Falcons to score at least 14 points. Panthers to score under 29 points. Dante Foreman to have at least 40 rushing yards. Tyler Algier to have at least 30 yards. Only 5 legs. Put it all together, coach. Plus 450 odds.
I like it a lot. Oh, Snake. Oh, Snake. Big miss. Alex, what did we miss?
Where are the dongs at?
Where are the dongs at? Wow. We're going to have a very spirited post-production meeting, as they like to call it in the business.
Better late than never, Snake. Come on, hit us.
Nice. And he figured out the mid-stop. Well done, Snake.
All right. It's that time of the show because we only have about, 15 minutes before kickoff. We have 2 very important things to do that Sia's not going to like very much tonight because he's going to have to wait. So we call this the gym. If you're brand new, we like to predict the first touchdown of the game. And we don't like to make it easy on ourselves. No. It's got to be plus 1,000 or higher in order to play and get into the club. And the club is very, very exclusive. So far this year, Maestro got in. Prop Stars got in. AB got in. And then Sunday night, little poetic justice that your boy got in with his favorite team, the Kansas City Chiefs, McCole Hardman. Now, we go in order. Maestro's not here. So, Alex, you got in next. So you, sir, have the floor. Who do you like tonight?
Yeah, Coach. I just wanted to point out real quick. I just got an alert on my phone. I looked at it. It was a picture from me and you and AB from the club. It was so crazy. Then I realized Sia's not in it, and I just didn't even want to bring it up. But just wanted to point that out really quickly. We had a great time, the three of us. Too bad Sia couldn't be included. Anyway, I'm rambling here. Let's get to my pick, the gem. We're going Kyle Pitts plus 200. Talked about him a lot. Love this guy. Generational player. I'm a Kyle Pitts truther. I believe this guy is one of the most talented players in the NFL at any position. I mentioned they threw to him on first down in the red zone. To me, that is a great indication that they want to keep him heavily involved, especially when they get down inside the 10, 15-yard line. So give me Kyle Pitts plus 1,200.
Jay in the chat simply said, cold savage. That's all right. All right, Sia, you're up. No, you are not. No, you are not. AB, you're up. Let's go.
Yes, sir. All right. So as our boy Drizzy Drake once said, always gone, but never hard to find. And it's right there in the end zone for our boy Drake London plus 1,400 tonight, because everybody's expecting the Falcons run the ball. And they will. Of course, they absolutely will. But I do know Arthur Smith. He used to coach here in Nashville. I know Marcus Mariota. He used to play quarterback here in Nashville. They're going to take a shot deep early just because the Carolina Panthers will flood the box. They'll take a shot for sure, and it's going to go to Drake London. Yeah, taking that to the crib.
All right, so a lot of people in there. Joe said, love you guys, but this is all straight chalk. I mean, chalk for the contest again, but chalk would be plus 400, plus 300. That's chalk. This
Arthur Smith was plus 2,000. So
yeah, come on. And Joe's here every day, and he's complaining. All right.
Yeah, we love Joe.
All right. So who's up? I guess that would be me. A chance to. I tried to make history Monday night. Didn't work out, and nobody picked that one. But I believe it's never been done in the same calendar week. So I still have a chance to make history tonight. And I'm going to go with Olamide Zaccheaus. Now, he has 2 touchdowns so far this year. He's got 22 catches so far this year. So why not number 3 tonight? And at plus, what number did I get? Plus 1,800, Joe. That is far from chalk. Plus 1,800. Hear me. Now, trying to figure out if it's okay. See it now. I believe it's your turn, sir. You're up.
It just might be. And we'll have to go back and look in terms of whether somebody hit 2 gems in the same week, because I'm racking my brain over here. You know, I hit 3, of course. It was, these are popular names, but I believe it was Donald Parham, Tyson Williams, Hunter Renfrow. I believe those are the names that I hit 3 separate times. It could have been in one calendar week. I'll tell you what, for the chat, for everybody here, I will go back and I'll check it out myself. I don't want anybody else wasting valuable time. But anyway, back to today. Tyler Algier plus 1,100. So here's the thing. Cordero Patterson, he certainly gets, or at least last week, and it looks like he's going to get the touches inside the 5-yard line more often than not. With that said, Tyler Algier has been very good in between the 20s, and he had 9.9 yards per carry last week on 10 carries, 99 yards. Quick math there for you folks. The point is, I think we're going to see a situation where Tyler Algier gets the benefit of the doubt and stays on the field in a short yardage situation. And for the record, the way Mixon tore up Carolina last week, he could run this in from the 20-yard line. So give me Tyler Algier, first touchdown score. And for the record, I do want to share this really quick. He is going to run to the left side. He's going to run behind Jake Matthews, who, for the record, actually had a baby this morning. He traveled with his Atlanta Falcons to Carolina, found out his wife was in labor, went back to Atlanta, met his child, cared for his wife, and literally I just saw a video of him running back through the tunnel into Carolina. He is going to be in this game. Algier will run behind him, and it'll be an easy touchdown. See you guys in the club later tonight.
What an unbelievable story. And it just helps that it's only like a 45-minute flight. That helps a lot. But damn. All right, quickly, we got to do one more, and then we got to do best bets to get the hell out of here. Snake, show your face. Show your face.
All right.
Explain yourself.
Listen, I'm going with Mariota plus 1,200. It's going to be wet. It's going to be windy. I think he could take the dang thing in himself if he's inside the 15. And, I just can't turn it down for plus 1,200. And if I could defend myself, I was under the impression that only the donkey got the sound effects. So props, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Although the execution of the bells could have gone better.
Oh.
Apology accepted, Snake.
See, but I guess I have an issue. Apparently, he's never watched the show before. I guess he just exposed himself. He literally just exposed himself if he thought that. I'll deal with Snake. Don't even worry about it. I'll deal with him. Now, throw up the best bets real quick. Let's do 15 to 20 seconds. If you missed them at the top of the show, you still have about 7 minutes to get these in. Remember, 15 to 20 seconds. Prop stars, go.
Tyler Algier over 32.5 rushing yards. Gave this out on the our Twitter Spaces show earlier this afternoon. It's since moved quite a bit. I'd actually look to his rushing attempts at 8.5. I prefer that if you can't get a number below 34.5.
By the way, Robert said time to change the name to the Donkey. Don't mind that. All right, see you. What do you like tonight?
I like Falcons minus 2.5. I think they're going to run all over Carolina. I like Chuba Hubbard, longest rush under 11.5 yards. I just don't think he's going to get plenty of rushing attempts. So I like the quality of that play. And also my third and final play is Jake. Next time you have a mea culpa, you consult with your attorney, Sia Najad, first. That is anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of the early edge. And you should not have said that. I'll make it up for you, but just lesson learned, I hope.
Hey, Sia said it. By the way, somebody earlier said I got to go back and look. They had a nice little name for a segment that we could do for your lawyers something. Whoever wrote that, write it again. I liked it, and I want to start using it. The lawyer something for Sia and a potential segment. All right, AB, talk to me.
Yep. So if we do that segment, I want to be the guy that's arrested and has to call Sia from jail. So I want to do that. All right. Young Hoku over 1.5 field goals tonight, minus 105. Our man Kyle Pitts with the mitts over 37.5 receiving yards. Minus 130 is juicy. He's going to get there early.
Are you done?
Yep, I'm finished. I'll call you guys from prison.
And also Zach Attack, he was on Terrence Marshall Jr. when it was at 39.5 on Wednesday. When we gave it out all the way down to 35.5 at most books now, it pays to watch the show live. All right. We end every single show. Oh, lawyer's locks. Oh,
nice.
The lawyer. No, it was a lawyer's long shot. That's what it was. The lawyer's long shot. But some really good choices there. All right. You guys know that we like to end every one of our primetime shows asking my crew exactly the number one thing they're most looking forward to tonight. Use this information for this evening or into the future. That's what this business is built on. See, if you don't mind, start us off.
I mean, the Atlanta Falcons very soon could be first place in the NFC South. And for the record, Tampa Bay plays Seattle in Germany. They could absolutely lose that game. It's only a 3-point spread. Seattle's an emerging team. I think this is a huge game for anybody that's a fan of the Atlanta Falcons because they're finally relevant, or at least potentially relevant. So let's see how it plays out.
Alex, talk to me.
Yeah, interested to see how these running back touches are allocated. They have 3 capable running backs. Obviously, Cordell Patterson leads the way, but they've been very careful as far as his load management is concerned. So I do want to see how they mix in Tyler Algier tonight, who's been very impressive in his rookie season.
AB, what's good?
Yep. So the NFL playing in Germany is like when shows like Full House ran out of ideas. They had to have the Disney World episode. Like that's what that is. Also, America, just going to say it. You're putting way too much faith in the Atlanta Falcons. I think we see craziness tonight.
Would you care to have a little money line something? You want to take the Panthers there, AB?
What is it, +2?
+2. I'll give you 2.
Let's go.
Snake, go ahead and smash that one.
Snake.
It's gonna be a showdown.
Oh, who would have known? Now, I guess I have to throw it out there because it was Sia's pick. And I've never known AB to turn down 2 showdowns. Thought, Sia?
I mean, I'm always in. It's an auto in for me, but I don't like if he's already in with one, it's up to him.
AB?
It's gonna be a showdown.
All right, we got 2 of them. All right,
I needed Snake to hit that button again.
We all did.
All right, so the number is 2. The number is 2 for the showdown. +2 is the number.
What the hell am I betting on the Panthers? All right, here we go. This is going to be wild.
So many things, history made tonight. You're betting on the Panthers for the first time. It's Snake's last show producing. I mean, so many things are happening all at the same time. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Sia's going to go 10 weeks consecutive without getting into the club.
Somebody in the chat said, I saw AB running in, but I didn't see Sia anywhere. Even the chat is taking shots at you, Sia. Not my words. Not my words. Oh, damn, I love doing this so much. All right, give me my single. There's only one thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. God, I love this. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, you know I love them all. See in the job, the best-looking man in all the universe. AB, our 5-tool player. Prop Stars, the best prop bettor in all of America. Jake the Snake. We'll get him there. I am the coach. Do not worry about anything. You want to laugh, you want to cry, you want to cash some tickets, you just want to be a part of something cool and positive. Right here. We like to call it the early edge. Good luck.